8:38. Oh, new tornado warning. All right. Nothing like live weather on TV. So here's the deal with this one. This is down in the southeast corner of Weld County. And that, let me get the warnings on that, is a tornado warning valid until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 6 miles to the southeast of Roggen. And it's moving to the southeast at 20 miles per hour. So let's see if that's going to run into anything. It's probably this little appendage right down there at the bottom. Oh, hang on. Southeast at 20. Nope. Fortunately, nothing in the path of that baby right now. So it's not to say nothing, folks. I apologize. There are people that are on the. Okay. Now let's go to this picture, Corey. If we can get it, he's got a tornado on the ground for a second there. He saw it. I'm going to shift the radar down here. And Corey, can you hear us? Oh, it's not. It's Brad. I'm sorry. All right. So we do have a tornado up there. I'm going to go back up here. All right. There it is, folks. We're going to stay with that shot. That is the cell that has just had a tornado warning issued. It is 6 miles southeast of Roggen. It is moving toward the southeast at 20 miles per hour. That is a typical land spout tornado. And what we're seeing there is probably what would be an EF0 or EF1, winds maybe 85 to 100 miles an hour, but that'll tear things up pretty good. We saw what the 110 mile an hour ones did in Hugo the other day. That's an impressive shot. And just take a look at that thing. What's happening there is low-level winds that have rotation. We talked earlier about the Denver cyclone, the spinning of the winds right in the South Platte River Basin are sucked up into the updraft of the thunderstorm. So for all the kids out there that have seen my tornado dance before, not sure if I can get into the chroma key on this picture, but I'll wait and see if you guys can do that so I can do a little explaining. It's kind of the reverse of a supercell thunderstorm, which has a lot of strong winds aloft that get the entire thunderstorm rotating. And so what you're doing is taking large, low-level winds that have a cyclonic or a swirling pattern at the surface, and those winds are then, oh, there we go. Think of the large winds swirling around the entire Denver area. This is the updraft of a thunderstorm, so it's carrying that up, and it's tightening that. And that's why the rotation actually shows a little bit wider here and gets narrower as it goes up at the base. This is still a tornado. It's a kind of a hybrid of a tornado, unlike a supercell tornado such as the Windsor storm a few years back. This is generally smaller, but you can see this is creating quite a bit of blowing dust and debris here. If that hits anybody, we certainly can have some damage there. So Brad Bogot, who is a skilled chaser, he actually chased with our dear friend Tim Samaras, who was killed in a tornado last year, is on this storm. So Brad, bring us up to date with what you're seeing and your location.
Well, Mike, I'm actually right off the I-76, probably 4 to 5 miles north of Bromley Lane, and looking out basically northeast still. And I'm driving along, and this thing just kind of came out of nowhere. As you can see, it's really unique looking because it's just kind of dropped out of there, and it's changed as even since I pulled over. But you can see the storm isn't really all that ominous from this from this direction, but it just kind of just sticks out there coming out of just the base of the cloud there.
Hey Brad, this is Teresa Marchette on the desk chiming in here because I think what's critical, Mike's been describing this area where we're looking at this tornado live on the air right now. I think the important thing here, folks, is that this is a populated area, maybe not as populated as the metro area, but Mike, let's talk about some of those things as we're watching this tornado that folks in that area need to do to stay safe. I think that's the critical thing. We get a lot of these phone calls. Where should I go? What should I do? Talk about that, Mike, if you can.
Teresa, good point. The key thing is don't panic, especially for younger people that might be home. Mom and dad are at work. You're out of school. Don't worry about this in the sense of this is not going to be catastrophic, most likely for most areas. Get away from the windows. get on the lowest floor of your home, or if you're in an apartment building, get in the lowest floor that you can. If you get in the basement, that's a good idea. If you can get underneath something sturdy, a table, a workbench, underneath the staircase, under a bed. One of the ladies the other night in Hugo climbed into the bathtub, and it sounds funny, but the metal rim of the tub, of course, has to hold up a lot of water pressure, and so it's strong, and you can survive there. The key thing, Teresa, is you do not want to have anything fall on your head. So get low and protect your head. Now, as a land spout tornado, which is what this is, it's got some pretty good legs on it here. I mean, it's been hanging in there for a while. Sometimes these things will just touch down briefly and they're gone. We can tell you pretty much exactly where this is. It's about 8.5 miles to the east of Keensburg. And, of course, Brad is out near the Roggen area, so it's a little closer to Roggen. On the radar, we can really show you pretty much exactly where this storm is. So it's just about 4 miles southeast of Roggen right now. If we could put that up in a split, that would be great. So I can get some streets on here, and we'll kind of go with this and really show folks what's going on. I'll put some street IDs on here.
Mike, how fast is this storm moving right now? What do we think in terms of where this is going next? Because as you've said, this has been producing these land spouts here and there quickly as the storm's moving.
It's moving to the southeast at about 20 miles an hour. So I'll put some streets up. That's County Road 14, County Road 81. That's probably the most critical area with this right now, Teresa. County Road 16. I know these say highway, but these are all county roads. And 18, and out here toward County Road 91. So the most critical part of it, just to put some storm tracking on here, hang on just a second. Pull it out a little bit. So there's no major cities in the path of this storm right now, but that, Teresa, as you mentioned, there's people out there. There's folks that are ranchers and farmers. There's folks that are working on the oil fields out there. We've got a lot of folks that are in the area. So we're going to keep a close watch on it, and we will just continue to monitor it with Brad out on this.
I mean, this is live, Mike, and
Yep.
this thing is held together for several minutes now.
And I can tell you, if you're spinning the dial, folks, we're the only station that actually has the tornado from a vantage point on the ground.
Unbelievable.
So keep it here. We've got the best location to really keep you posted on this. Other folks a little bit behind us again today.
We've got 3 of our storm chasers out today, Mike. We have been on these storms all week. This has been a really dangerous start to the season here, and you're looking live now at a tornado on the ground. Again, as Mike mentioned, close to Roggen. That's the area where our photojournalist Brad Bogut is getting this shot from. And Mike, by the looks of the radar, this is a pretty massive cell here, and this thing is really holding together.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well, Teresa. I mean, it's fortunately out of a pretty lightly populated area, but there are folks there, and a lot of these land spouts don't last that long. And so this one, I think we've probably been tracking it. Brad's probably picked this up about 10 minutes ago. So it's certainly a pretty long-lived little cell there. A lot of times they kind of just do little fits and starts and they disappear again. But this thing is certainly hanging there. I'm going to put the radar into a little loop here just to show you the progression of this. And this is only, I'm going to change the data time down to just 30 minutes here so we can really see the short-term effect here of what this storm is doing. So here we go. This is just in the last 30 minutes. So you can see the storm cell popping up. There's that little appendage there, a little bit of trying to make a little circulation hook. And that's what we're seeing coming right in there. So the town of Hoyt would be perhaps the next target that actually has a little bit higher population down there.
And again, Mike, you're saying right now, just stay away from the windows, go to a low-lying area. And if you know anyone who lives in these areas, as you mentioned, sparsely populated as they are, we have been watching this tornado stay intact. And I don't know if you can tell by looking at it, but it appears there's more involved here than there was even when we first saw it touch down, when we first started to watch it, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
The debris field looks much larger.
Yeah, it does look pretty good there. Now, of course, it's despite the rain, there's a lot of open agricultural land out there. It doesn't take much to suck up all of that dust. Probably looking at about 309 coming into Hoyt. So,
and should we ask? We might want to ask Brad as well. Brad, you've been watching this for about how long, Brad? And how has this tornado changed since you've watched it?
About how long, Brad, and how has this tornado changed since you've watched it?
Well, Teresa, I think I probably pulled over here I'm going to say it's been 15 minutes, and it has changed. You know, it kind of dissipates every once in a while, like it is now a little bit more, and then every once in a while it just kind of strengthens right back up. It has not really altered as far as its form, you know, size-wise, but it has kind of gone in and out of you know, strength and definition.
I know when we took your shot at one point, I saw some trucks at the bottom of the frame kind of moving out of that area. Have you seen folks kind of piling in and kind of leaving the area?
Kind of moving out of that area. Have you seen folks kind of piling in and kind of leaving the area?
I haven't been able to see much movement on the ground. It's difficult for me to see that far. I am, as I said, right off I-76, and like I said, as I apologize, I'm having semis go by and kind of blow my picture a little bit, but I haven't seen any real activity on the ground. But it's still pretty far distance from me.
Okay, and you are right now in the Roggen area off I-76.
Okay. And so you are right now in the Roggen area off I-76?
That's correct.
Okay, and Brad, we'll let you continue to monitor that. Again, a tornado still on the ground, close to Roggen, about 8.5 miles east of Keansburg. Mike, you were tracking this at about 20 miles per hour, the cell moving to the southeast, and still a very impressive storm.
Yeah, it really is. It's getting a little farther away now from where Brad is, but it's about 5.5 miles outside of Roggen, and the storm cell would be about 10, 11 miles to the northwest of Hoyt. And it's going to continue to move toward the southeast. Now, if it holds together, that would be the concern as it moves down across Highway 52 and as it moves farther down to the south toward the Hoyt area. We'll keep a close watch on. That'd be a long time, though, because it's still about 20, 25 minutes before it would hit there. But for anybody that's out in advance of this storm, we'll throw a few more county roads on there. So if you're probably the worst spot right now for this thing being close to you would be right around County Road 91 and Highway 52, where that intersection is.
And Mike, this picture we're looking at, Air Tracker 7 now has the shot of this tornado still intact. And you know, the other thing I think we need to point out, Mike, is we've been watching this particular cell, this particular tornado live on 7 News for the last 20 minutes or so. This doesn't mean this is the only one potentially out there, does it?
Good point, Teresa. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a bunch of other ones here. Let me zoom the radar back out, because we have a lot of activity on the eastern plains right now, and there's another one that